said. I want to, and I know you know this, and I know all the commissioners know this, but Mr. Hemmer has been listening and he has been responding to your request. I just very briefly wanted to just remind. So November 17th, we submitted an LOI. The board went through it. You look, we had an agenda. We were here. We listened. We heard what you said. We made changes to it. On December 7th, we submitted an update. We had a chance to speak with each of you to get your feedbacks. We also met with your key staff. We heard from them specific, detailed points that they wanted to see. That was in January. We responded on January the 30th with a detailed additional LOI that laid out those concerns. And then this morning, we heard you. We heard you. We went back. We made changes. We submitted them back to you. So we heard you say the tennis courts, we put it back in there. We heard you say a lower period of time for the due diligence. We put it in there. Again, I want to be clear, both, I know y'all know this, but for the public, the price didn't change, but again, we're not buying 250 acres. That we're keeping that for you, for your job creation and for development from, as the chairman said this morning, to give your economic opportunity, your economic development team an opportunity to fill that and bring those jobs. Commissioners, we've been working through this, what appears and is feeling like a slow auction, and we're responding. But we're trying to get a deal. We're trying to be a good faith partner in this. We're trying to listen to what you say. We do think we have both a quality product before you. We do think we've met what you've asked us to do, and we would encourage you to make a vote, move this forward. We'd love to be and partner with you on this. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Will. Next speaker is David Tiller, or David Tiller.
I'm here just to request Mr.
All right, thank you. Eric Sharplin.
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, I just want to say that I have confidence in what Jeff is doing, and I think that, you know, online I'm seeing on the ECW side a lot of criticism and attacks, and if everybody would just be civilized here and stop all this, and if you're nice to Jeff, I think, and try to be reasonable with him, he'll be happy to sit down and talk with you about ideas. But this name calling and trying to character assassinate him like he's got somebody in his back pocket, that just don't cut it. I mean, and if everybody will just be nice about this and work with Jeff, I think we can have a great thing happen with OLF8. But he is the lead, and a lot of these people who want to be the experts really don't know what they're talking about. Jeff knows how to get people to answer questions if he don't understand something.
Are they calling me names also, Eric?
Yep.
They are? Okay. All right.
But
I was just wondering. Okay.
Yep. You're not about the only one that they don't say much about is Lumen.
I'm joking. I'm joking, Eric. I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr.
Please
Chairman.
continue. I'm joking with you, buddy. All right. Thank you, Eric. Our next speaker is Larry Downs. I had a sneaking suspicion they may have called me names.
Holy shit. Hey, this is just a little comedy real quick. Is Eric on the payroll up here?
He's a good guy.
No, I love it. That's part of the show. I love it. Being him, you know, at least. Yeah, I look at the two different. I'm assuming there's two offers. Is that right? Two offers. Is that correct?
We have two letters of interest that we've been
Two letters of interest.
Yes.
I mean, yeah,
Yes.
yeah. Well, I'd say I think we should go with Fred's here. You know, he's got. I was gonna say he don't wear the fancy shoes, but the other guy's got fancier shoes, so we got to go with Fred here. You need to get you some work boots, Fred. Make it easier. Anyways, Yeah, I didn't agree with this in the very beginning. Y'all know that. I've spoken about it many times. I mean, government ain't supposed to be in the real estate business. But here we are. We're not supposed to be in the government-private partnership business, but here we are. I just don't see how y'all don't see what I see. And I think y'all do. You just don't know how to stop the snowball. Nobody does. And I don't think it can. I think it can only collapse, you know. Y'all know it. We're just kind of putting Band-Aids, like COVID Band-Aids, COVID injection Band-Aids on us. Put 6 of them on there and hope for the best. Be like, oh, I hope I don't get one of those heart problems, you know. All right. Anyways, you're a good sport, Stephen. I appreciate it. You know I'm right. That's the reason why you're a good sport. All right. Let's not be hypocrites up here. Let's be men. Thank you.
Next speaker is Bryce Birch.
Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
Bryce Birch, 3348 Purcell Lane. I appreciate that you like my shoes, Larry. I'm born and raised in this community. I live, work, and worship in this community. I care very deeply for this community. My family's been in this community for generations. We care very much about what happens in Beulah. I live in Beulah, so it's very dear to our heart. I have 4 daughters, 6, 4, 3, 1 years old, so they're stacked pretty hard. They love playgrounds. And we want to make sure that this community is not just something that's going to be here and gone tomorrow. Like, we want to plan for the future generations that are coming. We ask for the opportunity to have these conversations that you've had with Fred, to come back and say, what are y'all looking for? Because we're willing to do that. We're willing to make amends to our contract and make it work for the people. We're here for the people. We can add more jobs. We can add more land for jobs. The DPZ zone that we went after was something that y'all paid for and approved, so we thought it was something that you kind of wanted to follow through with. We can modify that, and you guys have the power to change all the zoning out there, and we're happy to do that. So we're not stuck to any sort of plan. We just want a shot at the table to be able to talk to you guys and find out what you're looking for to make it happen. We're in this community, we live in this community, we will stay in this community. I'd love to build a house in the new community that we're going to build. Like, I want to be a part of it. I want it to be walkable. We talked to Vivo, the scooter people, they want to be up there with us. We've had conversations with people in this community and outside this community that want to make it better. We want to bring in the jobs. We want to bring in the entertainment. We understand what the jobs do for people. We understand what it does for the economy, the extra income for the people. We want to bring in all sorts of jobs, you know, industrial, white collar, blue collar. Like, there's a lot of people in this community that need better jobs, and the jobs need places to be able to fulfill those roles. So they need the space. We'll give it to them. If we need more than 90 acres, we'll give it to them, you know. But people in this community also need places to live. We can cut that down a little bit, but right now it's hard. We are both brokers in this community. We deal with people every day that are looking for homes. You put more homes in the community, the prices go down. We're able to provide more low income. Our backer has done low income housing, has done manufacturing, has done land development. Like, he has the resume to make this happen. So we're ready to do that, and we're ready to do what the people want. We can't do everything that everybody wants, but we can do something that everybody can achieve from, right? They all will get something out of it, but they're not going to get everything that they're looking for. There's just no way to make everybody happy. I mean, you guys have been up here debating or deliberating on very hard conversations, and me thinking, if I was in your shoes, what I would do in some of these, it's very difficult. You can't make everybody happy, but we're going to do our best to do what's best for the whole county, not just Beulah. As much as I live in Beulah and care about Beulah, the whole county is involved here. It's everybody's tax dollars. We have to make sure that it's providing jobs, resources, lifestyle for the whole county and surrounding counties. We are a very tourism area. We want to bring in that tourism as well, because there's dollars in that as well.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you. Our board, that's our last speaker. I know we did talk about it some this morning. What's the discussion? Well, the board, Jeff, what do you think?
Well, we have a revised offer from Fred Hemmer that came in this afternoon. I mean, he's dropped the due diligence period and done some other things. I think, do you want to come up and speak? Yeah. I mean, I like the idea of leaving us some land for the tennis courts. I appreciate that. That was very, very nice.
Obviously, we listened to this morning what everybody had to say, and, you know, obviously I ran right over to Will, and we sat down, and I got my partner Chad on the phone, and we worked through the issues that you all had brought up and tried to come up with what we thought would be a fair compromise and to get that back to you. you know, I don't know if there's anything else we can do at this point. And Jeff, I know you said you thought there maybe was another offer or somebody coming in on Monday. And,
Monday.
you know, at some point, we've got to ask ourselves, at what point does this stop, you know? And the slow auction is a good term for, I think, what's been going on here. And, you know, I don't know if that's the best way to be going about this, because this is a very complicated project that is worthy of more consideration than just a purchase price. You know, there's a lot of back and forth that's going to need to be done between the county and the owner. You know, we've done a lot of development, and I think we've shown over the number of months that we've been involved in this, that we've done our homework, that we've tried to take into consideration everything that you all have said. We've met with the residents, you know, we've met with the school board, with Florida West. You know, we've done, I think, everything we could do to try to address the concerns of the commission and the citizens. So we've made a very serious, reasonable, thought-out offer, have listened to you all 3 different times, have modified it, and we stand behind it. So, I can answer any questions.
I'm sorry?
Maybe in a second, Fred. If your intent is to ask Allison and Wes to, you know, make an effort to negotiate a contract, I can, you know, I can support that. I mean, that's what we, you know, that's what we attempted to do with Horton, and we just weren't able to, you know, went back and forth a couple times and weren't able to get there. I don't know that we're, you know, there's $25,000 going hard on a $20 million purchase.
Yeah, I saw that. That's going to change. That number's going to change.
That's not enough of a number.
Nope.
I mean, just candidly, when you're talking about purchase prices. The non-refundable, I mean, the refundable deposit at the beginning, I mean, again, as I mentioned this morning, that's not really a factor to me. I don't, you know, I don't really care if they put any money down that's refundable at the beginning. That's not really, the only reason that that's important is, do we have questions about their ability to close the deal if that's where we get to? You know, do we question their ability to be able to financially close the transaction? I don't. I do think that there's the capacity to close the transaction. I mean, a refundable deposit only serves as comfort in their ability to close. That's not my concern. My concern is tying up the property, walking away with the public benefiting nothing from tying it up. That's my concern. Yeah. So, you know, but that's, as it happened with Horton, that can be part of the discussion that each of us have individually with Wes and Allison, and allow them to interact with Fred and Will some and see.
That was the motion I was going to make, Stephen, because I think they've shown the good faith, the willingness to listen to us. I mean, it's still a lot. I'll just be very honest. I mean, I love the changes that you made, but I agree with Stephen. 25 grand going hard is just not enough. But I like the fact the due diligence period went down to 7 months. I mean, it's getting lower, and the option for an additional period of time, I think, is reasonable. And there's a lot of other things, but I think if we pass this over to Wes and Allison, I think they can really round off the rough edges and bring a counteroffer that I think.
And if we vote to, you know, if we vote to begin negotiations with them, I don't want that to include what would seem like the acceptance of the terms that they.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
No.
I mean, we've received their letter, and we acknowledge that receipt, and then it's in the ballpark, and let's then allow Wes and Allison to work with the 4 of us currently, and work with Will and Fred, and see if we can actually get to a contract, which would then come back to the board also. That's all.
Well, I mean, that's the other question. I do have a party that's very serious and interested on Monday. But I mean, that's not going to dissuade my vote today. I mean,
I'm good. I mean, I'm good with moving forward to say that let's indicate a negotiation. Let's begin discussing it with them. But if we receive an offer that
it's not exclusive,
I don't see how I don't see how we could. Okay, so in my opinion, the reason that we moved forward with Horton last year, which, you know, I'm very fond of their local folks, and you know, they're very good people. You know, very fond of the Breland folks, the principals out of Huntsville, and I thought the product that they had with, you know, Town Madison and Cliff Farms, I thought those were very, very strong projects, and envisioning that product being in Beulah. That looked like a good fit. However, it's very difficult to walk away and dismiss an additional $7 million, which you know they have the capacity to close. There was never a question in Horton's capacity to close. Then you think about, well, what happens in the future? How do you, not you personally, just for myself, how would I explain walking, moving forward with this project and just dismissing something that was $7 million more to the public, which is what it all is. It's all public's money. So if we enter into this discussion and then, we receive, a letter of interest from ABC Company or DEF LLC, I mean, I think we receive whatever people send.
That's right.
And until we have a contract, then that's,
Bingo.
and I don't think that's bad faith. I think that while, they may have other people may have different wants for our behavior, I don't know that anyone could, in good faith, say that they would feel differently if they were in our seats. If we're negotiating, we're negotiating. If we have a contract, we have a contract. We don't have a contract. So.
We don't have a contract.
All right.
Yeah. Well, I appreciate that. Mike, that's kind of the
I
direction.
kind of like what you're saying there. So that means that the Bell and Mr. Birch and maybe whoever your third party is, we don't know. But I think we need to, I think we do have to set some timeline for the administrator and attorney to work with these folks. So we're not just leaving people like Fred on the hook.
I agree.
Is that 30 days, 60 days? What?
I was, from my recollection, I was pleased with, what did we do with Horton last year? I don't remember. Did we set terms? There was a lot,
I think Allison and Wes dealt with them and they gave us another contract, but
we went back and forth twice.
Yeah, no, I don't think we did.
I think we just indicated that we would ask them to move forward with it, and they moved forward with it. And if you wanted to say that we would hope that maybe we could bring a contract in 30 days, that's okay to say hope. I mean, but, maybe that's a reasonable expectation. I just don't want to say that we'll absolutely have it done, but yeah, I mean, I think one of the issues with Horton obviously was, especially the contract terms were not being negotiated here. I mean, they were going to Texas and the general counsel's office, and that's a part of it. And, we don't necessarily have that here, so that's better. But I think if we just, give them the indication to ask them to actively negotiate, that Wes and Allison can handle that.
Yeah.
And hope that we bring something back in March, maybe that's reasonable.
I think Horton went up $2 million from the morning meeting to the afternoon meeting.
They did.
Yeah, after we started negotiating, they went up $2 million.
And it's tough to walk away from that. I mean, how do you justify to the public that, well, we left that on the table? I mean, that's something, we remember all the details now. Fast forward 10 years, well, why the heck did you leave $7 million on the table? I don't know.
But it's a lot less property these guys are getting.
Yeah.
They were getting the whole thing.
Right, yeah, I mean, right.
These guys they listen to
But
us.
whether it's 1 million or 2 million, I mean, we can do a lot of sidewalks and a lot of lights with $1 million.
But it is this does include our ace in the hole portion of property, though.
Sure does.
It is our front feed. It is our, by far, most valuable, in my opinion, most valuable property, most appealing. So it is the, it is the ruby of the project.
Yeah, no doubt about it.
The gem. But yeah, Jeff, if you want to make a motion, I think I can live with what you're
Okay,
talking about.
well, I mean, we talked about this thing, we mulled it around.
I just asked that you allow me to open negotiations. So you're not doing exclusive negotiations with Fred, that you just allow us the same opportunity to move into negotiations as well. Because who's to say that we can't beat what he's doing if we're able the same chance that he has had?
Okay, Mr. Birch, if you can have a seat. The letters that we received from Mr. Hemmer, even as recently as today, are public record, Allison? Yes, if we can provide those to Mr. Birch and Mr. Bell, then they will know where Mr. Hemmer is, and they're welcome to then adjust their offers likewise.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's a public record.
But that would be the extent of how it would change the discussion. Just
Yeah.
make sure they, if they say adjust their offer, okay, well, if they want to see exactly what's being offered, that's fine.
They can send
And-
it.
And they can send more, and, maybe the board is more interested, and we'll take that up actively, but I would actively say, let's ask Allison and Wes to negotiate some.
Yeah, I think that's where we need to be, and to Mr. Birch, you know, you can look at what is on the table. It's evolved over time, and I would just say, you know, we got your offer, you know, very recently. We've been talking to Fred and his guys, you know, off and on for months and months and months. So, so the motion I would make is, you know, that we authorize Allison and Wes to go ahead and take this LOI and work with Fred Hemmer and Beulah Town Center LLC to craft something that that would be acceptable to the board, including the contract terms, with the goal of trying to bring something back to this board, a contract that we could approve by the end of March. That's my motion.
And is there a second? Second. All right. Before we vote, as we discuss some of this, and you know, it may not be back at the board for a little while, but it'll be, you know, y'all are going to be discussing with Wes and else. The commercial and retail portion on the frontage and your partners and those kind of things are going there. If you want to get a contract executed, those things are going to have to be discussed. So that's going to be a part of the discussion. It was a part of the discussion with Horton. It's very, in my opinion, it's very important to our board what we're talking about. So we're going to have some candid conversations about what you're looking at for the retail commercial portion. That's a part of it. But, all right, board, any other comments? If not, all those in favor, please raise your right hand. Item passes 4-0 to ask Wes and Allison to negotiate with Fred and Will and see if we can bring a contract back in March. Mr. Administrator, I'm sorry, does that conclude you? All right, Madam Counsel.